Good morning everybody, I hope you're well. We've got a side-by-side video today, so stay tuned. Right, so what's happening is I've got to take my dad to Stansted Airport, which is about 175 miles from here. And what we'll do is take these two cars side by side. We've got a Hyundai Ioniq 5 Project 45 and our Tesla Model Y long range. And these are great because what we can do is drive these cars at the same speed on the same roads at the same time and give you a really good real-world comparison between their efficiency range. And then what we can do, me and Gint's there behind the camera, we can do a bit of recharging and head back. Which one can recharge and head back and cover the distance fastest? We're about to find out. So before we get started, just quickly about each car. This is a Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's got about 70 kilowatt hours of usable battery capacity. This is actually the Project 45, which you can't get in the UK anymore. It's the top of the range version with that really cool solar roof. One of these will set you back about £50,000. That's kind of top end of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 range. And this one here is sitting on 20-inch wheels. And this is our Model Y long range. One of these starts from £55,000. So it is more expensive than the Hyundai. This one also 20-inch wheels. Now Tesla don't give you usable battery capacity numbers, but we have range tested this. We've driven this from 100% to absolute zero. So check out other videos if you want to see what happens when this car completely runs out of juice. And in that video, we basically measured that the usable capacity was 76 kilowatt hours. So it does have the slightly bigger battery over the Hyundai, but how will that translate? The Hyundai claims some pretty quick charging speeds. As we know, Tesla charges pretty quick as well, but they tend to peak at the low end and then tail off, whereas these sustain a higher, faster charging speed. So this is where I'm really interested to see how charging speed versus efficiency all ends up paying off if you're doing a 300 or 400 mile day. Well, let's start off by just testing the boot capacity. So this is a big bag and a smaller bag in my Model 3 boot. Obviously this fits easily. Obviously it will fit easily in the other cars. Oh, what's he got in there? Heavy. All right, let's put that one down. Apparently he's taking some bricks away with him. So there, yes, I'll put that in the same position. Well, it obviously fits very easily, no problem. Plenty of depth in the Model Y. You've got all that massive boot storage space underneath as well. In the Ioniq, Christ, you want to think it's going away for 3 months. And this is it in the Hyundai. Obviously this one's got a load cover. In the same position, so you can actually see it is a bit shorter and it's just not as deep. There's also not really storage underneath here, so you can't use anything underneath. So the boot on the Hyundai is significantly smaller and the capacity overall is smaller. Well, you're going to be right in the puffer jacket, we've got heating. Right, we're both 100% charged. Gins, what's the mileage showing on the Model Y?
327.
327? I've got 229. Okay, well, let's see how that pans out in the real world. So it's a bit of a chilly morning this morning, 8 degrees. Both cars are 100% charged up. They've just both finished charging a short time ago. The steering lock isn't good enough to do this. Got this there. There we go. So it's 8 degrees this morning, a little bit chilly. Both cars are 100% charged shortly before we've just set off, but they weren't pre-conditioned. We just literally finished off the last bit of charging when we got into work. So we'll see what they cover in the world road. We're going to drive at real world speeds, so we're not going to hyper mile. We need to get to an airport, don't we? So we're going to drive at 70 miles per hour and at speed limits as we go. Okay, so where does it show me the distance? 145 miles. Wow. We'll do that, then we'll carry on driving, and we want to cover really probably a couple hundred miles if we can, and then we'll do that charging test as well. So for now, we'll just get on with the journey.
Still got crack. Yeah. Still got crack.
Okay, the airport drop's done. We've covered over 160 miles now, and what we've decided to do is charge at GridServe in Braintree. And the reason for that is we can charge both Tesla and this on the same place, and this has got the opportunity to use 350 kilowatt chargers. So there's not that many places where you've got the Tesla superchargers and 350 kilowatt chargers on the same site. GridServe Braintree being one of them. Excellent facilities, well done GridServe. What we can see here though in the meantime is that for 70 miles per hour on the Tesla cruise control is 70 on the Hyundai indicated speeds. So we're both travelling exactly the same speed right now. I've got my radar cruise on and keeping a distance, but I'm doing 71/72 miles an hour for the Tesla's 70. So what we're going to do, I want to cover at least a couple hundred miles, so I actually go past grid serve now. We're not that far from it, but let's cover some more miles first. The Tesla does look like it's more efficient, which isn't too much of a surprise, but I want to get a couple hundred miles under the belt, because then that simulates a pretty solid, so say 3 hours of driving, you know, at motorway speeds like you would if you were doing a long trip. So let's get that done, then we'll recharge and see which car can recharge the fastest enough to get back to base, which will be about 175 miles from grid serve. So we've got to add another 2.5, 3 hours of driving, almost another couple hundred miles worth of driving. So that's what we're going to do. So to give this Hyundai the best shot at the best efficiency and range, I have been using eco mode for the entire journey. So like I said, we're not driving for ultimate efficiency, we're just real world. So we're just driving at 70 miles an hour and not hypermile or anything. So the Tesla doesn't have an eco mode. You've got like a chill mode just to soften the throttle pedal off if it's a bit sporty for you. But yeah, I've used eco mode in this so that we just get the best efficiency possible out of it. I mean, may as well, driving down the road. He's not in eco mode, BMW M3. So I'm doing 70, he's now doing 120 miles an hour probably. Anyway. So yeah, eco mode for the Hyundai, just to make sure we get the best efficiency out of it. The Tesla's just in drive, does what it does, it's always efficient. So what we're going to do, we're just going to come out of some roadworks in a second. Let's see if we can compare the performance. So we're doing 40 in these roadworks, just over, let me come to 40. Right, I'm going to switch to sport mode, let's see how these cars compare. So again, it's just about to come out to 70, so 3, 2, 1, go. He got the jump on me, but he's gone. Yeah. I mean, the Hyundai's pretty nippy, you know, it's got some power in it. This one's a dual motor, so it does have some pretty good power, but the Model Y is easily the faster car. Okay, so we've covered 185 miles and we're going to head to the chargers now. So by the time we get to chargers, it'll be over 200 miles. So we're going to put that in as a destination. The Tesla will do a preconditioning process at some point, so we've just taken its efficiency before it does the preheat, because that will use a bit of extra energy. So just driving side by side, the Hyundai 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, the Tesla 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. So it's certainly the more efficient car. However, let's see what we have when we get there and the Tesla's done its preheating. It'll probably go up a little bit. So I've just tried to put in grid serve Braintree in the navigation. I've looked for fast chargers around Braintree, and the navigation, the Hyundai doesn't seem to even know about them. It's a huge place with loads of really good fast chargers, and yet it's trying to take me to a 50 kilowatt charger in the town. So I don't know if the Hyundai would do any kind of preheating, but the destination just isn't on the nav so that it can know. What I will do is put in the nearest DC charger, so if it can possibly do any kind of preheating on the battery in the Hyundai, then it should do it. Make sense? Okay, well, let's see then which one charges quicker. The Hyundai is down to 10% battery now, and I'm getting messages on the screen about low battery, visit nearest charging station, don't want to search for stations. However, I'm just going to follow Gintz, and I mean, I'll search actually, I just double check, it doesn't seem to know about grid serve Braintree, amazing place for charging cars. No, definitely not on there. Anyway, let's go to another DC charger, so if there is any preheat, it will do that. What I will mention is I just had a funny moment with the kind of autopilot system. This has this kind of radar cruise lane assist, and it sometimes works okay, you know, it keeps in the lane, radar cruises, but sometimes the steering wheel's just kind of searching around like this, and it kind of weaves around a little bit. But what I just had is it was taking me onto the line on the central reservation here. It's beeping at me, telling me to keep left, but it's literally pulling me to try and go across that line, which is obviously the opposite of what it should do. So it just kind of lost its shit a bit there. Sound a bit like Bjorn there. Damn, losing its shit. Yeah, so the Tesla kind of autopilot, lane assist, radar cruising is better. Yeah, okay, we're nearly there. And what I'm actually doing off this roundabout, I'm actually putting my foot down a bit. I want to use the battery a bit harder, because if this might help preheat the battery slightly, so I don't want to give any unforced claims. Right, there's the Tesla. Okay, Gintz, 3, 2, 1, go flat out. Now. Yeah, I think I'm power limited.
Yeah, why it's not pulling as good as it should do as well. It doesn't show any power limitation, but I can feel it doesn't have full power anymore.
Okay, we've just arrived at grid serve, and it's really busy. It looks like there must be some compressor vent. There's a whole load of Seats. Oh look, there's a, again, you see there's a Nissan Mirai there as well. Not Mirai, what's it called? Aria. Anyway, right, Gints, 201.6 miles covered according to the Hyundai, 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and I've got 5% battery left, which is 8 miles of range. What have you got?
71 miles down to 201 miles covered, 56 kilowatt hours used, and 24% left in the battery, which translates to 78 miles of range, and an average 278 watt hours per mile.
Okay, so you've still got 24% of the battery left, and I've got 5%, and that's averaging very nearly 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. In fact, it's gone down a little bit because of probably any preheating. This is at 3.1. This has normally got tons of free chargers, but there must be some kind of press event here, a grid serve. So let's see what the deal is with plugging in and charging up. So, which was fastest? Let's get back and have a look at the video, because during the charging I was speaking to somebody I know, so I wasn't keeping an exact watch, but the Hyundai did a right for itself there. So I'll get back, have a look at the video, and we'll put them side by side and compare exactly how they charged.
Still got crack. Yeah. Still got crack.
Everyone, right back in the office now, another day. So I've got some figures for you. Let's do a bit of data, shall we? So I'm about to play the charging of each car. We've synchronized how long each car's been charging, and we've sped it up a little bit, obviously. But before I do that, let me just talk about the real world range of those cars on that day then. So remember the Hyundai 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, the Tesla 3.7. But based on the percentage each car used of its battery for the distance we covered, it gives a Hyundai on that day a real world range of about 213 miles compared to the Tesla about 266 miles. So that efficiency there really helps. Slightly more usable battery capacity in the Tesla, but the efficiency really helps take it further. So you do have a good another 50 miles in it. But the Hyundai's got good charging speed, hasn't it? So let's see what we get. So here, what we see is that the Hyundai on the left-hand side actually ramps up. So as we get there, 174 kilowatts at about 20%, that was its peak charging speed. It didn't go over 200 kilowatts. It then comes straight back down again. So it's pulling between 140 and 150 kilowatt throughout the battery now in the mid-range, which is a pretty good charging speed at that state of charge. The Tesla did hit 195 kilowatt just after it was plugged in, 25%, but that continuously slows its charging speed as it goes through, which is very typical of the Tesla charging curve. But let's see which one gets to 90%, and there we go. There it is. That's the Honda at 90% at just under 32 minutes. Remember, that was from 5% state of charge, and there's the Tesla, 90% now. From 24% state of charge, that took 39 minutes. So the Hyundai wins the challenge, right? Remember the challenge was to do the journey, 200 miles, then charge enough to be able to get back here and see which should do that first. So it's kind of indicative of a day we could do 375, maybe 400 miles. Well, the Tesla wins it because that efficiency. So to get to enough charge to drive 175 miles again, the Honda needed 82% of its battery, and that took it 26 minutes to do. Yeah, not bad at all. Quick coffee break and you're back on the road. The Tesla, however, needed 66% of its battery because it's more efficient. It doesn't need as much, and that only took 18 minutes to do. If you were going to run another 200 miles, it's a similar pattern. Honda would have needed 94%, Tesla 75%, 35 minutes Hyundai, 24 minutes for the Tesla. So, you know, you can see there that the efficiency of the Tesla helps it win that, despite the Hyundai's faster charging throughout. The Hyundai can charge faster. I've had it faster. This day was about 10, 11 degrees Celsius. The Tesla had 11 degrees Celsius when we started charging there. So a little bit chilly, still cold gated, but the car's been driven for long enough. So, you know, the advantages with the Teslas were in the colder weather, it preheats for superchargers, and even non-Tesla chargers, the Tesla can preheat. The Honda just didn't know about that. I did set a local place, but it didn't seem to do any preheating. And so on a very warm day, the Honda may well take it if you can get the fast chargers at over 200 kilowatt charger capabilities. Possibly so, but that's the results we have there on that day. So, you know, we've got to take away from this that both cars only needed really sort of half an hour-ish of stop to then do another couple of miles. So you're doing 400 miles in a day. That's all you need to do. Half an hour, 35 minutes, 39 minutes of stoppage time. It's not too bad, is it? So they're both very good, very capable cars. I enjoyed being that Hyundai that day. I was driving that, and like I say, covered nearly 400 miles, very comfortable, great seats, soft suspension. It was a very nice place to be. The Tesla's firmer, but it's got sharper steering on the Tesla. Tesla's quicker. Tesla's got a bit more space inside because you've got good front storage space, and you've got lots more space under the boot as well. Rear passenger space, they're very similar, both great family cars. So we are. That's the results on that day. I hope you find that a useful, interesting experiment that we did there. So please leave your comments below. Don't forget to sort of like and make sure you're subscribed as well. Share our video to people you think might be interested and maybe considering swapping to EVs to show that a 400-mile day really is very easy. But that's it for this one. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.